Brittany Maynard's 30th birthday is 5 weeks away. She is not planning to see it. We first reported last week on this young woman with terminal cancer. Her story is restarting a national debate over medical aid in dying.
Euthanasia is derived from the Greek word eu, meaning good, and thantos, meaning death. Although the main controversy lies on whether euthanasia, or physician-assisted suicide, which is also commonly known as, is really a good death. Pros of euthanasia include the relief of extreme suffering in patients, providing a method of relief when a patient has a low quality of life due to terminal illness. It allows the terminally ill a choice in the way they die, which is often referred to as death with dignity, and euthanasia can also allow medical funds and equipment to be used in a more efficient manner. The cons of euthanasia include both religious and ethical issues. The thought that it devalues human life, the belief that physicians and health professionals shouldn't directly cause a patient's death, the belief that it violates the Hippocratic Oath, and also what is known as the slippery slope effect. This belief is that once euthanasia is legalized, it will become legal in all situations and will no longer become on a voluntary basis. In the United States, only 6 states have made euthanasia legal. The movement of legalization first made progress in the 1970s with the movement for patients' rights. This movement stated that the patients had the right to do anything with their body, even if it involved refusing life-saving care. On October 1st, 1976, California became the first state to let terminally ill people withdraw from life-saving medical care if death was unavoidable. However, euthanasia or physician-assisted suicide was not legal yet. In November of 1994, Oregon became the first state to allow physician-assisted suicide, or euthanasia. Then, on November 4th, 2008, Washington legalized it, with Montana legalizing it in December of that year. On May 20th, 2013, Vermont became the 4th state to make the practice legal. However, in 2014, New Mexico legalized euthanasia, but a higher court ruled that it was illegal a year later. California became the 5th state to legalize euthanasia in 2015, and finally, on this past election day, November 8th, 2016, Colorado became the 6th state to legalize euthanasia.
Well, you're not ending the life. I didn't do it to end the life. I did it to end the suffering the patient's going through. The patient is obviously suffering. What's the doctor supposed to do? Turn his back? If he's a coward, he is.
Dr. Jack Kevorkian was an American physician who played a massive role in assisting in patient suicide. He helped at least 130 people kill themselves in the 1990s. A woman by the name of Janet Atkins sought his help in 1990 after she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Kevorkian proceeded to help her end her life in a van in a public park in Michigan. Public outrage resulted after the news spread, and he was charged with her murder. However, the charges were dropped due to Michigan's indecisiveness on assisted suicide. Kevorkian was also charged in 3 other cases, but all 3 failed to imprison him. In 1998, Michigan passed a law making assisted suicide a felony punishable by a maximum 5-year prison sentence, or a $10,000 fine. It wasn't until he allowed 60 Minutes to air an episode of him in 1998 providing the lethal injection to Thomas Uke that he was charged. Following the release of the video on March 26, 1999, he was charged with second-degree murder and the illegal delivery of a controlled substance with a sentence of 25 years in prison with the possibility of parole. Regardless of the controversy of euthanasia or physician-assisted suicide, the topic is also extremely relevant in today's society. In the 6 states where it is legalized, physicians cannot be prosecuted for prescribing prescriptions approved by the state to terminally ill patients with 6 months or less to live. In Oregon, 991 people have used the option since the law was put into effect in 1997. In Washington, 702 deaths have occurred since 2009. Finally, Vermont has seen 24 deaths since the law was started in 2013. The main relevance, however, is the current debate on whether the practice should be legalized. In 1997, the Supreme Court ruled that state laws banning the practice were constitutional, and therefore individual states needed to decide for themselves whether they should make the practice legal or illegal.
I don't want to die. If anyone wants to hand me like a magical cure and save my life so that I can have children with my husband, I will take them up on it.